step.
I must say I'm very pleased with the way the atmosphere has changed over the last few years. There was a time when the council's police committee wouldn't speak to us.
Well, we weren't getting a lot of cooperation from your side either, Mr. Brownlow. There's a shift of attitude in the force as well.
It's the police service now, Councillor Lamb. We've been rebadged.
And I think that change reflects a new recognition of our role in the community.
Well, there's a new generation coming to the fore, isn't there? I mean, they talk about the policemen on the beat getting younger, but when you see the top brass on television, I mean, some of them look as if they're only in their 30s.
Yes. Well, we like to think the real job depends on having experienced officers at local level. Well, this has been a really interesting meeting. You do realise my door's always open? Derek will show you the rest of the station.
Yes, if you're ready.
We've nothing to hide.
Arresting officer?
Yes, Sarge.
You witnesses?
No, Sarge. We were called out to bring him in the van.
Right then. Reason for arrest?
Suspicion of robbery. The prisoner answers the description of a suspect in a street robbery. When I approached him in order to question him, he refused to stop. He struggled violently, and I used the force necessary to restrain him.
Do you understand what the officer has said, Mr. Jackson? Is there anything you want to say?
I'm just walking down the road, man. Minding my own business. When this guy goes, oi, grabs hold of me arm, pulls me around. That's the first I know he was a policeman. So he's shouting something about robbery. Never gave me a chance to say anything. I just went, you know, get off. And he's twisted my arm, half whacked me back and smacked me face against the wall.
Do you want to say anything about the offence you were arrested for, the robbery?
Don't you care?
If you've got a complaint about your treatment, we'll deal with it later. What about the robbery?
He's broken my nose, man. Look at the state of my shirt.
We're going to get a doctor to look at you. Do you want to say anything about the alleged offence?
How long have you been in your present post then, Mr. Conway?
Oh, quite a few years now, Councillor.
Isn't it time to move on?
Yes, well, these things aren't for us to decide, madam.
Must get a bit fed up doing same old same day after day.
Oh, there's always something unexpected in this job. It's what keeps us interested.
I've been battered by this.
Well, let's get a cup of tea, shall we? I don't think they're quite ready for us.
What's going on?
In the interests of your own safety, please, I must insist. This way, just to the left.
Nicked him with the property. Outstanding, my old son. You've just bumped up the clear-up rate for street robbery by 50%. Van's on its way. Sierra Oscar 2 from Sierra Oscar, receiving. Can you go to Canley Street and pick up 340 and a prisoner? Quick as you like, George.
Sir.
Just grab a place in the queue and he'll be right with you. Be aware, there's a prisoner doing a floor show in the custody area. Looks like Loxton's body. Just keep an eye on it, will you?
Will do.
Don't let it get out of hand.
Sir.
Right, till around, is it?
Started it bleeding again.
No, it's not broken.
Oh, terrific.
Oh, any other injuries?
Oh, that's plenty, thanks.
Hold still, please.
Oh!
Your robbery suspect.
Yeah.
Bloke you got handy with.
What about him?
It's the wrong body.
What?
Yeah, Dave Quinnan nicked the actual perpetrator. Gear on him, bang to rights, hands up, all done and dusted.
Well, I'm covered. I had grounds. I did the necessary.
Yeah, but you can never recover an upstone.
Yes, come in.
Malcolm Jackson, Sarge. I hear the robbery charge is going to get blown out.
It is, if another bloke did it. I should hope that's obvious.
But that doesn't mean Jackson can walk, though.
Oh, no?
Assaulting a police officer.
Well, you want another bite of the cherry?
Well, of course, it's up to you, Sarge.
You're dead right, it's up to me. Did you have any witnesses to him assaulting you?
No.
And do you have any injuries from him assaulting you? Something we can show the surgeon?
Well, no, not really. But I made a justifiable stop. It was Jackson chose to make a ruck of it, and he lost. That doesn't put me in the wrong.
There isn't any way we're going to make this stick, Steve. If I charge Jackson, the CPS will throw it out, and then it will look as if we're just trying to fit him up so as we can scupper his complaint.
Jackson's complaining.
He's going to talk to the governor about it.
I'd tell him to get stuffed.
Well, you would do, but the governor's going to try conciliation. He's going to try and allay his sense of grievance, make tactful expressions of regret.
Sugar?
Full.
Now, Mr. Jackson, we know you're not the man we were looking for. As far as we're concerned, you're free to go about your business. I'm sorry this has happened.
You're sorry?
If you need to call your family or your place of work, feel free to use a phone. And if it would help for me to have a word with anyone, I will.
I don't need to phone anyone.
You live a fair way from here. If it would be any help, I could arrange a lift home for you when you're ready.
Yeah, all right then. I don't mean I'm not complaining.
No, that's entirely up to you. I can fill in the complaint form right now. Or perhaps you'd like to talk it over with me before you decide.
What's there to talk about?
Let me be quite open with you, Mr. Jackson. There are two ways this could go. One is a formal investigation in which you're interviewed by officers from the Area Complaints Department, and they also interview PC Loxton. They decide whether the matter goes forward to a disciplinary tribunal and whether it should also be considered by the Director of Public Prosecutions. They might decide there's no case at all.
That's garbage, man. I was done over. Look at the state of me.
Well, they'd have to decide on the evidence whether he had good grounds for stopping you, whether he approached you in the proper manner.
I keep saying, he just grabbed hold of me right out of the blue.
I know what you've said. I'm explaining how an investigating officer will have to look at it. Also, they'll have to decide whether the officer was using necessary force.
Well, the answer's no.
But you must understand, they'll listen to your side of the story and they'll also listen to his. And they may end up accepting PC Loxton's version. Now, I don't know, it'll be totally out of my hands.
I mean, I'm innocent. You've just said so.
Yes, we know that now, but the question is whether there were good grounds to stop and question you then to establish whether you were a suspect. And if there were, and you failed to cooperate and resisted arrest, then reasonable force could be justified. If that's the finding, you'll have got nowhere, I'm afraid.
And how long does all this take?
It could be a matter of months. I'm not saying this to put you off, I'm just being straight with you.
If something like this happens, man, it ought to be put right, you know?
Well, we can't turn the clock back. But how about if we pay for getting your clothes laundered? I can put that through right now, out of petty cash.
I'm not signing my rights away.
And nobody's asking you to. We'll take care of the laundry, whatever you decide to do.
Thing is, if I don't complain, your blokes get the idea they can just do what they want.
Anybody under my authority who thinks that gets his ideas changed very sharply, Mr. Jackson. As I said, if it's a formal complaint, it's out of my hands. But if you want to leave it with me, I can assure you that the officer concerned, and all my officers, will be reminded of what's expected of them by the public and by me.
I don't know.
You don't have to decide here and now. You can go home and think about it, see how you feel.
Yeah, and I'll do that. About that, lift down.
No problem.
Our visitors off the premises, are they, Derek?
Almost, yeah.
I think they got a fair idea what goes on, don't you?
Yeah, well, we'll see, won't we?
Ricky Douglas. Isn't he a pal of yours?
Yeah, I know him. Why?
He's been made up to commander. What, were you constables together?
No, I was his sergeant when he was a probationer. Funny old world, isn't it?
Well, that's all in order. We're fireproof as far as Jackson's detention is concerned, I take it.
He'd received proper treatment once he got here.
Any views on the arrest?
I wasn't there.
I'm not asking for evidence, Bob. What's your opinion between ourselves?
Well, Loxton isn't a maniac. He wouldn't get heavy just for the fun of it.
So you'd accept that it was necessary force?
Oh, that's a different question. Another officer might not find it necessary.
Well, chances are it'll all blow over.
You don't think Jackson will proceed with the complaint?
I think he got it off his chest talking to me. I think he'll be glad enough to get out the nick and put it all behind him.
Bit of lip, was it?
What?
The bloke you wallops. Too much of that? Steve, look, you can speak freely to me. You won't go no further.
If I needed to speak to anyone, it would be the Fed rep, which isn't you anymore, in case you've forgotten.
All right, all right. There's no need to get the hump.
I did my job out there today, Reg. I made a split-second decision out on the street. I should be supported for it, not put in the frame. If Jackson had done what he was told, he'd have had no problem.
Inspector Monroe. Ah, yes. Hello, Mr. Jackson. I see. I thought you were going to sleep on it. Well, of course, if that's your decision, if you'd like to come back to the station and complete the official forms, we'll go ahead and process the matter as a formal complaint.
Morning, Claire.
Sir?
Looks like a good one.
I told Sergeant Cryer yesterday I've got no record of police involvement for Jackson.
Get me a PNC check just to make sure, will you?
Yeah.
And if I'm not on my extension, try the chief super. I think he'll be wanting a word with me.
Sir.
Yes, come in.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Derek. Complaint against Loxton. Do you know about this?
Yeah, Andrew Monroe left me a message.
Take a seat, Derek. Assault. That means MS-15 are automatically informed. Pity Andrew couldn't conciliate on this one.
Well, I'm sure he did his best, sir. But I'll have a word with him when he comes on this afternoon.
Is this Jackson known to us?
Well, that's what I'm chasing up now, sir.
I mean, it's one thing getting an assault allegation on somebody we've charged. But this sort of thing does PR no good at all.
Well, I'm sure there's something you can charge him with, sir, if you think it would help.
Don't be facetious, Derek. I want this dealt with in an honest and a proper manner.
Yes, of course, sir.
It's Jackson. Do you think he's been getting advice?
Well, Councillor Lamb did have a word with him before he left the station, sir.
He didn't witness the incident.
No, that was off the premises. But he did see him in custody with his shirt covered in claret, shouting the odds.
Terrific.
But as you did point out to our visitors, sir, you've got nothing to hide.
So, do you think Councillor Lamb's put Jackson up to making a formal complaint?
Yeah, looks like it to me. Still, at least he's not a lawyer.
Yes, Chief Superintendent? Yes, hold on. It's collated for you.
Hello, Donna. Oh, I see. No, it can't be helped. Okay, thank you. Jackson's clean.
Down.
May I?
Yes, of course.
You see, on the basis of this, I wouldn't have thought that area complaints would have found against Loxton, especially if he keeps his front up.
No, they may not. But if Jackson's been getting legal advice, he may bring a civil action. That puts the Metropolitan Police in the frame with a lower standard of proof.
And Sunhill won't earn any brownie points by letting the job in for 20 grand's worth of damages.
Well, you better go round and see Jackson then, see if you can talk him round.
Yes, sir. Is this afternoon soon enough?
If that's the best you can manage, yes. And bear in mind, a soft answer turneth away wrath.
Yes, sir.
Can't see many bruises.
I said he fought. I didn't say he was any good at it. If you'd given it some welly, you'd have seen Jackson was getting out of hand.
Oh, come on, Steve, be fair. You can't do that kind of driving in a Sherpa.
Well, when you did finally get there, you could see Jackson was trying to make a fight of it, even under restraint. Couldn't you?
Well, come to think of it, he seemed pretty quiet to me.
Well, you'd better think a bit harder, hadn't you, George?
Yeah, well, it's not just down to me, though, is it, eh? You know what Barry's like. Bit of a Boy Scout.
Well, Boy Scouts should be prepared, shouldn't they?
Steve.
Sir?
Thought I'd let you know, Jackson's making a formal complaint. If it's not talked out, you'll be due for a Form 163 detailing the allegations against you.
I see, sir.
Anything you want to tell me about it?
It's all on paper, sir. I've got nothing to add. When I get the 163, I'll have to see what the investigating officer makes of it.
Right, carry on. And go carefully.
Yes, sir.
Jackson business, Andrew.
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm just on my way to see him now. You didn't manage to work the Oracle, apparently.
I put the position to him fairly and squarely, sir.
What do you make of him?
A man with a grievance. Whether it's justifiable is not for me to say.
Yeah, I know all that. I mean, what am I dealing with? Is he a chancer? Is he a groucher? What does he think's in it for him?
Those questions didn't arise. For what it's worth, once he'd calmed down, I had the impression I was dealing with a reasonable man.
And Loxton swears blind it was reasonable force.
At least Jackson's willing to talk, which suggests that he hasn't been nobbled by a brief.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure. He might be perfectly happy to waste my afternoon leading me up the garden path and then clam up about a case.
It probably won't come to nothing.
There's no reason why it should.
I mean, there's no witnesses.
If there were witnesses, George, they'd back me up.
Well, yeah, sure.
If it gets that far, they'll probably talk to you and Barry.
Oh, hold on a second, hold on. We didn't get there until after. We told Cryer that.
Yeah, but when you did get there, you can see Jackson was still struggling, trying to make something of it. That corroborates my version.
218 from Sierra Oscar receiving.
Yeah, go ahead, Skipper.
What's your location, George?
Yeah, we're 363. We're on Jubilee Street, approaching the junction with Oak Road.
Can you go to the mark with Lansdowne Avenue? Landlord reported disturbance.
Yeah, on way.
Mr. Malcolm Jackson?
Yeah?
Derek Conway, Chief Inspector at Some Hill. Pleased to meet you.
You better come in then.
Thanks very much indeed.
Just,
Well, you certainly get the views from up here, don't you? Right across London, more or less.
Yeah. Except for the good bits.
Well, it's a nice, cosy sort of place. You been here long, Mr. Jackson?
Long enough.
Yeah, well, these high-rises, they suit some people, don't they? They're not everybody's cup of tea, are they?
I never had no choice about it, man.
No. No, well, that's the way it is, yeah. Mind if I sit down?
No, go on, yourself.
You're a betting man then, Malcolm? You don't mind if I call you Malcolm, do you?
No. How do you mean by betting?
Well, you know, no. Don't want to interrupt you if you've got money on the next race. You working then, Malcolm?
No.
What's your line of business when you are in work?
Motor mechanic.
Oh, really? I used to mess around with cars a lot when I was a lad. Mind you, that was when you could make sense of what was going on under the bonnet. Open them up now, it's like looking in the back of a TV set. All wires and black boxes. Yeah, they're too clever for me now.
They give you, like, diagrams.
I suppose they would, wouldn't they? So times are hard in the motor business then, Malcolm. You used to be very steady, you know, nice little earner. Still, it's been hard times all round lately.
Dead end.
Is that right? So, you wanted to branch out, spread your wings, is that it?
You want a drink, a cup of tea or something?
Yeah, sure, lovely. Only if you're making one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Cheers.
Take it easy, George. You know what they're like down the Marquis. They soon to punch out or building each other. And any luck, they've sorted themselves out by the time we get there.
Is that milk off?
No, it's fine, thanks.
Forget how long it's been open. When there isn't a woman around the place, things get a bit out of hand, you know.
You're on your own then, Malcolm?
Yeah. Mrs. went off, like.
Got any kids?
Little boy. Yeah. Talking with her.
I bet you're missing me.
It wasn't working out. Yeah, I do miss them, I suppose.
I know I would. Can't live with them, can't live without them. This all tied up with the job situation, was it?
Well, I suppose it was, really. You see, like, I'd done a few years as a mechanic and I thought, I could move up here. Like, service manager, all that. I just wanted the chance. Governor wouldn't have it, though. Kept stringing me along with promises, you know.
Oh, I know. Believe me, Malcolm, I've been there.
Yeah? Well, I got you with all that. I went off, started my own little business. Back street, in a lock-up. It's all right when there's money about, but when that dries up, you're the first of the wall.
Sure.
I bust, didn't I? Couldn't keep up the mortgage. Moved in here. The old lady couldn't hack it. But, you know, that's life. Just got to keep going, I suppose.
That's it. You ever been involved with the police before, Malcolm?
No, never.
But you never want to again after this little lot, eh?
Well, I don't know about that exactly.
Look, I make no bones about it, Malcolm. Incident like yours, it's bad news all round. Look, I know we gave you a bad time. Done a lot of damage to whatever good opinion you might have had of us. Now, whether that's 100% our fault is not the issue. The damage has been done. The question you have to consider is what you want to go some way to putting things right.
You know, I just want this bloke Loxton sorted out.
When you say sorted out, look, if this investigation comes down on your side all the way along the line, Loxton will probably get the sack.
Is that right?
And I don't need to tell you what that means to a man with a family. Do I, Malcolm? So you can see. He could be suffering the consequences long after you've got over this unfortunate incident, if you take it through to the bitter end.
There you are! You report a disturbance?
A disturbance? They're having a right old ding-dong.
Names?
Oh, well, they're not regulars.
Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah. I don't know any of them.
Customers like yours, I'm surprised you don't use plastic glasses.
Or a trough.
Just like the back of it by the porterhouse. I don't know, it started, just cut off like saying glue each other. You know these things, and I was just through them doors. I'll get them, hang on.
George! 363 to all units. Urgent assistance, Marquis, backyard.
Evan!
That's it, come on!
Nearly there. Marcus, backyard next left, innit?
It's a pig! Go! All right. Had enough, have we? Yeah. On your feet.
You all right?
Yeah. I thought they'd keep kicking till I saw brains.
Yeah.
Cheers, Steve.
It's all part of the service, isn't it, George?
Jackson's dropped his complaint. Thought he'd like to know.
Saves any more time being wasted, doesn't it, sir?
Is that your view of the complaints procedure?
Complaints are a sign of an active officer, sir.
That doesn't make them like medals, son. We don't need to make any more enemies than we've already got.
Sir?
I'm sure you know the rules about stopping and questioning suspects, Loxton. Do you always apply them?
Certainly, sir. There's no reason for you to think otherwise, is there, now the complaint's been dropped?
This is your governor speaking to you privately, Loxton. Being a barrack room lawyer or offering dumb insolence won't work here. That complaint stays on your record, even though it's been withdrawn. And if you get a complaint that goes the full distance, the investigating officer will look at that record and he'll draw conclusions. Be advised.
Yes, sir. Will that be all, sir?
Come in. All right.
I've seen Jackson.
How'd you get on?
Well, he's withdrawing the complaint.
Well done. Well, that's one less thing to worry about. Had somebody wound him up to take a civil action?
No, I don't think so. Otherwise, he wouldn't have talked to me about the case. Anyway, now that he's dropped the complaint, I imagine he's stuffed himself as far as the civil action's concerned.
Good result. What did you make of him, as a matter of interest?
Jackson?
Hmm.
He's a loser. I could spot him.